Okay, so Auntie, we're live on Facebook as well, eh? So we're live on video. Okay? You look okay. You can talk, it's okay.
Every time new people are going to see me?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh my God, I never done that. Go color your hair. That's why
She looks nice.
She looks lovely.
It's nice and clean.
Very nice.
This morning.
You look good.
C'est moi qui cosa. C'est moi qui cosa.
And me? All of us. Yeah, me too.
I'm very early too this morning.
You're alright, my darling. No worries.
Please give me the rubber bands that are wrapped around your fingers. Habit.
You know you sent me this file.
My voice usually cracks. It's very cool.
You didn't send...
No, what's this?
Oh.
Good evening and welcome to the In the Spotlight radio show for tonight. It is Monday, the 1st of April. It is a day that we say it's April Fool's Day. Thank God nobody got me fooled today. I started reading some things on social media, but by the time I got halfway, some people were really trying to prank us. I realized that some people were just pulling some April Fool pranks and I just passed them by very, very strict. But happy April Fool's Day to those persons who actually believe in that. And I hope that you didn't get fooled or pranked today on April Fools. It's fun. But we are here this evening. A very good friend of mine lost his mom on Friday. Just want to urge him to continue to be strong as he deals with his loss. And to know that many, many persons have him in their thoughts and are praying for him as well. As we begin the program tonight, let's say hello and welcome to our listeners right here in Dominica. Those of you listening via Q95 FM online, whether you're on TuneIn or any of the other online radio mediums that you use to listen to your favorite radio station. If you are listening on 95.1 FM, it is our pleasure to have you. You are right on cue. And those of you who are tuned in via our Facebook Live, we already have quite a few viewers actually. I suspect that lady is a pretty popular lady. Quite a few persons are looking forward to hearing her and to viewing her and to listening to her tonight. If you're outside of Dominica somewhere, my sister Gail, I see you're on. Good night to you. And all those who normally tune in from outside of Dominica, it is always a pleasure. And we thank you for choosing us. Thank you for making us your program of choice on a Monday night. And tonight, we are very, very delighted and pleased to have a very beautiful lady actually in studios with us. And don't ask me this lady's age because I cannot believe she's the age that she says that she is. This lady looks fantastic. She has great skin, a beautiful smile, and she looks absolutely gorgeous for me tonight, and for you too, those of you who are viewing. Our guest is a businesswoman, a mother, a wife. I was told a very spiritual lady as well. And she's one that I didn't have a chance to do a preview. So you're going to be hearing a lot of things just as I am hearing them tonight. And I'm actually excited about that. I'm looking forward. Hello, Leon. It is time to just say thanks again to Q95 for allowing me to be here on a Monday night to do this. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Q, for the time. Thank you to the other folks who support us. And occasionally I like to say thank you to Mr. Kimo Astafan, who made our tripod available to us. I'm beginning to suspect we need a new one. Blame Kanisha. So maybe somebody might be kind enough to send us a new tripod, right, Kanisha?
Yes.
All right. Let's go across and say good evening to our guest in studios. Let's make sure that we have the right mic. I didn't say it as yet, but her name is Mrs. Rosetta Fevrier. And we know that probably all of Dominica will know who this lady is. She's one of the persons who's been in business for a very, 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 very long time. We know her business. She will tell us more about this, about her spiritual being, her spiritual life, her family, and life in general. Mrs. Fevrier. Can I call you Rosetta?
Rosetta.
Rosetta. She says Rosetta is quite fine. Let me make sure I have your mic. Let me just hear from you again, Rosetta.
Yes, good evening.
Okay, so I think I had the right one before. Good evening to you again, my dear. Let me begin first by saying a very, very heartfelt thank you to you for consenting to be here with us on the In the Spotlight radio show tonight. And it is a pleasure to have you. Over to you to say good evening.
Okay, good evening for Dinah and your listening audience out there. You all said well, beyond Dominica. It's a joy to be here. I've been on the radio many times, so everybody's accustomed to hearing my voice before. And so it's not a new thing being on the radio and always talking and preaching and do all kind of things.
Oh, preaching too?
Yes, sometimes. I used to.
All right, so we're going to learn a lot more about you. I'm going to give you the opportunity again just to say good evening to everyone who's listening. And I know some of your family members are currently at church and so on, but I know you want to say good evening to everyone who's tuned in tonight, but more so those special people who are tuning in just to hear you.
Okay, good evening to my daughter. Hope she can listen, or most probably she could slip out and have my daughters, both of them. It's interesting that my other daughter is right here with me. She was just, she was like my security guard, make sure I was able to walk up the step properly. So good evening to Alison and Lenora and Gomez, my husband Harold, and my friends all around who are listening, who knows me very well. Auntie Ia, my sister Maros, all should be excited to hear my voice tonight. And beyond Dominica, Auntie Rosie, good evening, that's me. And you know, Pastor Eloy in St. Croix, St. Thomas rather, quite a number. It's too numerous, but I am well known, and I have some good friends who would be very interested in hearing my voice tonight.
All right. Well, I am interested in hearing your voice tonight, so let's at least start there. All right. So Mrs. Fevrier Rosetta, just do somewhat of an introduction for us in terms of who you are. Tell us who you are.
Who am I? Who am I? I'm a young person. I am a young person.
You are?
Yes.
Indeed.
That's
right.
So, I'm from, first of all, I am from Dalis, a small community in the eastern side of Dominica. I am in Dalis. We have about 4 communities. We have La Roche, Dalis, Victoria, Carib. So I'm from La Roche.
La Roche.
Yes, La Roche people who are listening. I love her. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm from La Roche. Okay? And my family, my parents, were the Etiens. They used to call my mother Auntie Maud, my mother and father. Our house was the biggest house in the village. We had an infant school, so we were very well known in the village, and there was a center. It was like our house was the center of activity. It was the social life of the village was surrounded around our family house. We had a bakery in the yard, and we had a little shop. So you find, and we had a preschool in the yard, preschool in the house. So this made it very popular that everybody who wanted, and my mom was a very talented, very interesting to be around Mommy. Mommy Maud, we used to call her. She made bread, she made cake, she made lollipops.
Lollipops?
Lollipops, yes. Mommy did lollipops. Kadisha, you will know that. Your mom would know that, your dad rather. So that's where I'm from. And grew up in the village. We go to the village school, the daily school. And being the first sister, I am number 5 among 10. I am the 5th girl, and my brothers were older than me. So being the first sister, I had to more or less be like the guardian for the others. And growing up in a family of 10 children and 2 adopted ones from the neighborhood, mom would pick children and live at home with us. Our home.
She was one of those who would just take in people's children.
Taking people's children and the neighborhood children, and they grew up at home with us. And mom was a seamstress, and she would see you going up the road, and you don't have, in those days, things were bad, really. And she would pick up any piece of cloth and stitch up a panty or make you a dress, and they go home with it. That's what kind of person.
She was a godsend, that's what she was.
Mommy did everything she could for people. And so that's the way we grew up. And
so she was a seamstress?
Yes, she's a baker.
She baked, she made cakes and bread and all of that.
Finally, she started doing lollipops.
So she was very good with her hands?
Very good at her hands. And so mom was very well known in the village, and so that's how we grew up in a big family of 10.
Talk about dad, though. You spoke quite a bit about mom.
Dad was exceptional. To take care of such a huge family, and it's only in those days, only on the farm, you depend on the cattle, the goats, and we had our land way out in the bush in those days, and you had to go up to carry the baskets. Being the bigger sister, then the other girls would come with me, my other siblings, and I had to carry mine, and when we reached a certain place, I had to take theirs and put it over mine, because whatever bits you give them, they will reach home with nothing. A bunch of, if you give them 3 hands of banana to get home, if I did not take the last hand and put on my basket, we will reach home with nothing.
How so?
So, yeah, that's the way it was.
How so? Would they throw it down?
Oh, they would fall 100 times. Every time they fall, a piece stay behind. But it was fun. Growing up in the village was really fun because it was quite populated then, and there were quite a lot of activities. But then when people began to migrate and go to England, Dad went to England.
Oh.
Dad went to England and left Mom with all of us. And then Dad sent for the bigger boys, and finally he came home. So it was very...
Okay, let's pause a while. So Mom and Dad had 10 children.
10 children.
You had 9 siblings.
Yes.
Right. And you all lived in La Roche,
yes.
in Davis.
Yes.
Mom made cakes and bread, and she sewed and made lollipops and all of that good stuff. Dad toiled the farm. Yes, he was a farm worker.
Yeah.
And so on. So before we talk about Dad leaving, besides your siblings throwing all of the food down when they attempted to carry it home, let's talk about life as a child growing up in Davis, and then we'll get to Dad leaving.
As a child growing up in Davis, it was exciting. I don't know for now, but this is all we knew. Therefore, we were not looking and feeling sorry that we don't have the other side. We went to school on the estate called Belvedere. Belvedere Estate. That's where we went to school. It was mango season for us. Every month, every other month, there was a season for something. So going to school on the estate was very exciting and interesting because the little pot of food, we had to bring over lunch first to school because we had to walk quite a distance from La Roche to Belvedere. And therefore, being that far, Mom had to get up and cook lunch and give us a little tin of lunch. And when I say tin, I really mean a tin.
A literal tin?
Of course, a little butter tin or some stuff. Sorry, because when I mean, whatever container you could put a bit of food for lunch and take it with you to share with 5 of you at school.
So the lunch would be in one container?
Oh yeah.
And when you get to school and it's lunchtime,
at lunchtime
you and your brothers and sisters, you share from that one container?
From that one container. We ate from it and
I don't know those
that
things.
was okay. That was okay for us.
So would you come with 5 spoons or is it still 1 spoon? I'm asking.
Whatever, we had to wash our hands for dinner and eat our food with our bare hands. We didn't have 5 spoons.
Oh.
I'm not going to pretend and make it look like it was all well. No. Mom couldn't afford to give us 5 spoons. At lunchtime, you better wash your hand and share the food and eat with your hands.
Wow.
That was okay.
That was okay for you all?
Yes, it was okay for us then.
So you went to school and at that time, how many of you all?
We were both, the bigger ones, you know, they leave school at different stages. But
right.
when we were going to school, it would be about all of us, 5 girls and 5 boys. So the girls, when I began going to school on the farm, on the estate, it was about 5 of us and 1 brother, but 6 of us going to school in the morning. And before going to school, you don't just get up and go to school. You got to go and get the water and get your plates, wash all the plates and do your chores before heading to school. It was about 1.5 miles.
Wow, so you would be up by what time?
We'd be up around 5, 6 o'clock.
No way.
And get yourself dressed and get ready and go to school. And it was not proper roads. There was a road we used to walk to school. It was muddy and slippery. By the time you get to the school, you look like, I wouldn't say whatever. Yes, that's how it was. But school days were really happy days.
In spite of
that, you look forward to going to school. Because at 1 o'clock, lunchtime, you would leave this little tin of food wherever it is and head to the plantation and get mangoes. And you fill your stomach with mangoes, so the bit of food didn't matter too much.
Didn't matter too much. The one bowl that had to split for 5, 6 of you.
That was okay.
At that time when you went to school, I remember some of the guests that I've had on said they would have the exercise books that you would have to cut in half.
Yeah, you have half of a can pad. Exercise book.
Can pad.
You would have half of a can pad and a piece of pencil.
A piece of pencil.
And that is for those who are in the advanced class. But if you're in smaller class, you do a slate. The slate. I don't know if you know.
I know what a slate is. Yes.
So they give you a slate.
What would you use to write on the slate?
There's a kind of
it came with.
Yeah, it came with something that you were able to write on it. It's like a chalk. You write on your slate. And then the bigger ones will get a can pad, you cut it in 2. So each person have a piece. And you share a pencil in 2. Or you would have a fountain pen. Fountain pen, you know, the type the judges use.
Yes.
You dip it in the ink, and that was for the senior children who were in standard 4, 5, standard 7. You know, what is when the school went up to standard 7.
Standard 7. Your brain, your memory seems to be working well.
You think so?
I'm going to test you a little further on this memory. So back then, do you remember what was taught in school?
What was taught in school?
I said I was going to try.
Okay. Yes, I remember what was taught in school. You'd be very much surprised to know. In our school days, we did things that children were not able, cannot do it now. They taught us algebra.
I hate algebra.
Yes. And we had to do poems with 14 verses, like Mark Antony's speech. And then we had to do English. You had to speak proper English and know all the nouns, pronouns, adjectives, everything that had to do with the English language by by the headings. So you have to know that. And then you have to be able to do penmanship, proper writing, learning to write proper penmanship. And reading comprehension, reading composition. We had to do all of the comprehension and how you call it, penmanship. I didn't like it at all.
You didn't like to write?
I couldn't spell very well. You had to do penmanship, or you dictate to you and you write.
Ah, so so they speak, they read it out,
yeah.
and you have to write it. So you have to know how to spell the
dictation, we call it.
Dictation,
well.
dictation.
Yes.
And you didn't like that?
No.
You liked math?
Maths, oh well, up to now I don't think I can do it very well. Well, now I must.
You have some company. You're not alone with this, okay? I'm just letting you know that. What about the timetables? Did you have to do that?
Of course, you have to be time. You have to do a timetable. You have to come on time. There's this register. Your name has to be called, and not only that, for that, and they have to examine your nails, your hair. If your teeth is not brushed, you will not go out of the class. If your hair is not combed.
Seriously?
Yes. On our way to school, we pick up this thing they call.
And you're talking about primary school in the community of
Primary
Dailies?
school in the community of Dailies, you have to get a piece of lozai.
What is lozai? Lozai.
Other people out there, they tell you this type of bush that is very soft, like it's a flower. Some people have it in flower pots, but you use that to, you running up and you scrubbing your nails because you just finished peeling bananas for lunch. You finished putting water fit to boil, so you have to scrub your nails and your teeth. I know a lot of people out there don't do that.
No.
We use something like a stick, a chew stick. You have to chew it and use it to brush your teeth. It's a blackish stick. It has a very nice flavor.
And that's what you all use?
You have to brush your teeth before you get to the school because they will examine you.
No toothbrush and toothpaste. Keep toothbrush you're talking about. Pate me,
None of the above. You use that to brush your teeth and have a comb, or if you have a piece of comb somewhere or something, and make sure you look presentable. You don't just go to school and go and stand in class. No. You have to be lined up. You have to line the class and examine everybody.
What did you wear to school back then?
Back then it was just anything you had.
Just anything you had?
We did not have uniforms until late when we moved to another school, a school in Karim. Yeah, that is only then we were introduced to uniform, blue and white. But before that you wore anything.
Anything? Shoes?
Please. You couldn't wear a shoe. You couldn't afford shoe when I was growing up. If your mom give you a little brown tennis, you can't wear that to go to school. That's for church. You go to school barefooted, man. We didn't have shoes in. When we got the latter years, go to Carol school, then we started giving you a little plastic shoe.
A toe less then?
A toe less, oh yes. If you have a toe less, and if you have a brown
Chinese shoe?
Tata shoe.
Those were the days.
These were the days.
But they were fun days.
They were fun days. We had fun. I enjoyed them. Because right above the school, right on the main road, there were different mango trees, and it was fun. There were guavas, then it was fat pork, and it had another type. Every season had something. Fat pork, and you know what's fun with what?
I have heard about fat pork, but I'm not sure what it is.
It is this round fruit with red, kind of reddish. It grows about Dominica. It was very popular. Up to where I live now in one house. The neighbor had a tree, and I got it down. I ate every time I pass on TV. I love it because it brought memories.
It brought back some good
memories.
memories.
The neighbor had a tree right across from me, and I was the one. I think I ate almost everything for them.
Tell me about your siblings.
My siblings, yes. Very interesting. I had 5 brothers and 5 sisters. My brothers were, I have only one brother like my bigger brother, the others died.
Oh, 4? You mean you have lost 4 of your brothers?
4 brothers in 4 years for Diana, and that was between 2014, 13 to 2015.
13, 14, 15,
Between
14,
2000 and
3 years?
13.
No, before that, 2009, I think.
2009?
No, 10
10.
Mm-hmm.
to 13. 10 to 14. 4 brothers.
One after the other.
While I was in hospital in Canada, sick, ready to die as well. My other brother in Dominica, my last brother, he's calling me and telling me, hold on, I'm praying for you, sis. In Creole, he says to me, says, Chebe for Mukapweti, Mukamade Jehovah, you know, I was in hospital, low, very low, in Canada.
We're going to talk about that in a while.
But he also died before I get home. Well, about 2 days afterwards, he himself died.
So your 4 brothers died while you were out of Dominica?
No, I was in Dominica, but the time space.
The time space. Okay. Just for persons who may be listening and wondering who they were.
There was Ozan.
Ozan.
Then Jehu. Then Jonathan. And Moses. My bigger brother David, he's still in England.
Okay.
But these brothers of mine, it was fun growing up with them. They died. Jonathan was in England, Ozan was here, Moses was here as well, and Jehu. They were builders, they were architects doing drawings and
Good with their hands as well.
very good. They built schools, my brothers built the schools, they had a construction company like. And they built schools in Petit Savane, in Watton-Waven, in Salisbury, one of the villages down there on the coast. Yes, Barana Ote, they built the Barana Ote.
Your brothers?
Yes.
Okay.
They were shop builders.
They died of different illnesses?
Different illnesses.
Very well known. All very well known.
Very well known. I suppose almost everybody knew Ozan. He was an engineer.
He was an engineer. Okay. Your sisters?
My sisters are Rosetta. Then after me has
Rosetta.
And then there's Yvonette, that's her grandmother, and then Lena, she's a pastor in Mahu Church, Mahu MGT, and Esther, she's in States, and Maru, she's in Canada.
Okay. So the sisters are all alive?
We're all alive.
So you've all outgrown all of your brothers except for one?
Except for
the
one.
eldest one?
Yes.
Who is there still? All right. And your sisters are, you said your brothers were good with their hands, they were builders.
Yes.
On the opposite side, what were your sisters known for?
Well, they were doing they did not stay here very long, except for Ia. I call her Ia, sorry, but she knows. Ia, you listening? Yvonette is her name, but the children could not say Yvonette are children, so they say Ia. Except for Ia, she's a pastor's wife and she's been a homemaker. And Lena, she also is a pastor's wife and she's pastor in the church. And my 2 other sisters, the States, Esther, she has her own, she was a banker and then she moved into her own private business. She's running a daycare. And my sister was a dietitian, Ruth. Rather than Kenneth, she was a dietitian in the hospital, but she's now retired.
So before we come back and zero in on you, we're going to go back to Dalis and the time when, as young children, you were growing up and your father made the decision to move to England. I suspect back then a lot of folks were doing that. They were moving to England for a better life, you know, that kind of thing. Let's talk about that, Rosetta.
Well, Dad stayed in England for 5 years.
5 years.
During that time, my bigger brothers were still around. They helped take care of the family. And Dad got an accident in England, so he was supposed to return. Dad got crushed. He got a terrible accident in England, broke his leg, and it was really hard for him. But he finally came home after 5 years. Dad came home. And from then, we continued, you know, as children in the family, stayed home until after we had the preschool at home, as I said. So that after I left school, primary school, I began teaching in the preschool with Mom. Okay. And from there, Mom decided to send me, she wanted to send me to a convent. I remember I did the exams for convent. Very simple, maths and something else. But in those days, you know, it was like country book, you were preferential goes to more people over. Hey, don't take offense to my listeners, but it was like
Jean Wozo.
Mm-hmm. And you were a little country bookie, you know, so never mind. But I did not really go to, I didn't get to go to the convent. But I came to live with my aunt. I have an aunt who was in town. And I came to work with her. She had a business as well.
Okay.
And that's where I started living and working with her. Right where I have my shop today.
That's where you started.
That's where I started. I was just about 16.
We're gonna,
Very early to leave the nest.
we're going to take a break, Rosetta.
Yes.
And when we come back, we're going to start talking about that part of your life. You're doing beautifully so far. Keep it locked, we're coming right back. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. Tonight we're featuring Mrs. Rosetta Fevrier, and we'll be talking some more with her. Keep it locked to either medium that you're using to listen or view the program tonight. We're coming right back.
In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
Mike Simon. Mike says your mother would make sure that you always get speed of radio.
Dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories.
Area is this one.
Touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture,
Virginia.
and
Area
more.
is listening.
Getting to know our farmers, our public servants,
Pastor
youth,
Norma is
and
listening.
the ordinary Tony.
Is she?
Listen
Wow,
to their stories.
exciting.
No limitations, no restrictions,
Sarah.
no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting
Sarah
topics,
is listening?
issues, and relevant situations.
That's a normal
Don't
listening.
mix. In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio.
Yo.
Every
You
Monday
should
night
have asked her
from
to
2 p.m.
quote one
In the
of
Spotlight.
the poems. The Inchcape Rock.
What's that?
The Inchcape Rock.
Oh, please.
Why
don't.
not?
You have
Somebody
to
said
remember
that.
things.
Why not?
Somebody said I knew her last brother. He worked at the Ministry of Communication then.
Yes.
I knew her last brother. He worked at the Ministry of Communication then.
That's what it was.
What's that? What's that?
Oh no, I was reading myself.
We're back. 19 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. We have a beautiful guest in studios with us tonight, Mrs. Rosetta Fevrier. What's the name of the store, Rosetta?
Fevrier's merchandise.
Fevrier's Merchandise.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to talk about Fevrier's Merchandise, but not yet. What is that poem they were talking about that I should get you to do for me?
Please.
I-
I think my memories can go back to poems.
You
In
think?
Belvedere School.
I don't know your daughter who said that, not me. Blame her in the corner over there. Do you think you can remember? It would be so beautiful if you did.
Okay, which one? I can remember. Inchcape Rock is a long thing. That's the Marpleton which is very popular. Everybody knows that.
Okay.
The first verse of it.
The first verse, everybody knows it.
Most people of my age, or you know, within that age group, should know. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that man do lives after him. The good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus have told you Caesar was ambitious. This was a grievous fault, and grievously have Caesar answered it. Or should I go? I think that's
Go
enough.
on.
Oh, no, that's enough. The thing is, you know, we quote part of that we usually say. I mean, up to today, people say the evil that men do lives after them, but that is part of the poem that we used to do in school. And this thing had about 16 verses. Yes, you have to learn it
And you
memorize
knew all
it.
16 at
You
one
have-
point.
You have to. You have no point. You have
But you said so beautiful. Can you say it for me again? You said so beautiful. But you do so beautifully and very serious. Yes.
There is part of it says, you only see upon the Lupercal, I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? Yet Brutus say he was ambitious, and so he's an honorable man.
And that was from school?
Yes.
Primary school?
Oh yes.
And you remember that?
Yes.
I do remember some of the things from primary school, much as to remember something to recite.
Making of the West Indies and all these books we read, West Crown Reader, West Indian Reader, I think one should do that. West Indian Reader was a popular thing. Port Royal in Jamaica, the latter half of the 17th century saw Jamaica become a British colony and all those things. These are things that, I mean, children now, it's the, I don't think, well, we have nothing else to do. That was our life. That was our social life. That was everything to us. So you had to sink it in.
But it's amazing, and at this age, the last person who was here, who was able to recite things for me so well, if I am not mistaken, it might have been Mr. Philip Arlene, who was able to recite things from way back then, like you're doing now. It's quite impressive, and I think it puts a lot of us, some of the younger folks, in the shade, because we do not remember these things. Some of the things that we learned in school we do not remember at all. And to listen to you tonight recite this so beautifully, I am very impressed, Miss Rosetta. Very impressed, and thank you for that. I'm sure many people appreciated that recitation.
Well, because we live in times, really presently, we are so preoccupied, there's so much to do a thing about that. You can't backload all those, you can't bring back all those things. Too much to download. You have too much to download.
Too much to download.
Yes.
I like that.
I can't remember everything. Sorry, but nowadays, that was just the social life.
That was your social life.
Yes,
Who part any Facebook, Twitter,
Oh, please.
Instagram, WhatsApp.
It was fun. You take
Yes.
ropes, you took vine and you make ropes and you skip. And when you hang somebody in the air with that rope, that was the fun. Or you play marble hole.
Hopscotch.
Hopscotch. Marble hole was fun. And then you lose all your marbles, or you'd have to get a lot of knocks on the back of your hand. Your hands would get swollen. It was just that kind of thing. We got all type of thing. We were very creative in those days because we didn't have the luxury that we have today. So you had to get your own marble. You had to get marbles from those trees that were growing in the boundaries of the estate. And you get this round little fruit, right? And that's what we used to do our marbles. And then for plain nuts, you see the cashew nuts? Cashew nuts, the plum we call them, those trees, we have them in Dominican Republic. And the nuts from it. We play for nuts, you play nuts. You use, you know, if you throw out one and you peck at it, and by the end of the day, you might have a big bundle of nuts, dry nuts.
Where would you do those nuts?
You roast them.
You roast
And
it.
you cut them and you roast them. And if you stick it on you get a tattoo.
Hey.
Oh yes.
So that's how you all did your tattoos.
You get a tattoo from the nuts.
Right.
Yes.
But those were the days, and that was the fun that you all had.
Oh yes.
If you were to make the comparison of the type of fun that you all had as young people and what we do today, what would you say?
The comparison would be a bit difficult in that we have to admit the times have changed, the seasons have changed, and the knowledge has increased. No longer are we in this primitive way, and I am not the one who's beginning to blame and create, but I would say that this is what we had then, we use it then. We use our imagination, we make our bicycles, our toys, we did everything with what we had. And it was necessity. So comparing these days would be a bit,
Unfair?
Unreasonable.
Yes, unreasonable.
Unreasonable.
Yes.
You would get a little, Christmas time you make your whistle. Now you're going to toy, in this toy you get a whistle for $1.50. So it's okay.
You play bell.
Or you play bell. I mean every bit of broken plate you get. It was It was
fond memories.
And
yes.
we were contented, according to Sparrow. In days of old when men were born. So we walked away quite contented with what we had. With what we had. For today, I think it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's with the times. The world has modernized. That has come with it, and so let it be.
And I enjoy the modern one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear you talking about download.
Facebook. Not what we do now.
You're on Facebook now, Rosetta?
If I'm on Facebook, of course I'm on Facebook.
Is that so?
Yes.
She is.
I go on my computer and do my orders and do what I have to learn computer and I will learn. You have to learn. That's the time. If you're else you're left behind.
That's correct.
You know, you just have to educate yourself through. Try, make errors, learn and go with it.
That's right.
Enjoy it. See, I like now. It's interesting.
You love the times. You love
course,
now.
why not?
I like her.
Well, you can. I like the nice things. I like to see everybody now they have pretty long hair, looking good girls, young girls. Good for them. Okay. You have to get a piece of iron, a hot iron, and chew your brain out when you
To straighten your
to
hair.
straighten your hair. Use a fork.
Well, now we're getting it in
Of
parts.
course, and just
You know, you
pretty.
sew it in.
And look pretty.
Or a little glue.
Of course.
And we're good to go.
Of course.
All right.
I like to see it. I'm not going to do it, but never mind.
Never mind. Yes.
I like to see that.
You came to Roseau, you said,
Yes.
at some point. Let us talk about when you came to Roseau. And before you get into how you came to Roseau, tell me how much do you remember about what Roseau looked like when you first came to Roseau?
When I first came to Roseau,
On truck, by the way?
no boy. Yes, we came on truck. At a point, we took the truck from the Grand Bay Point, a place they call Platine. That's where the truck had to pick you up and bring you to Roseau.
So how did you get to that plateau point?
You have to walk from Daly's through the mountains, climb up the hill. From Daly's side, you walk up the Grand Bay side, the side of the mountain facing Grand Bay. You have to walk it and then go down, descend way down till you get to Platine.
Today we hop in our cars, we turn the key,
And
and you move. Some of them don't even have literal keys anymore.
no.
You press button, you start, and you're gone.
My dad, the first time I drove to Daly's, I drove through the road, Petit Savan. I had a pickup, I drove up that road alone, and I said, on the hill, I said to Petit Savan Hill, you ride me, and I'm riding you on today. I'm going up on you, I'm really going to ride you.
You did that.
Of course, in my heart and my mind, I said, you ride me so much, now I'm going to ride you up. And I did it in half an hour from Grand Bay to up there. That was crazy, that was really mad of me. But I felt the pain. I used to carry a half bag of flour from Bagatelle to Daly's. Three of us had to carry the bag of flour because mommy
For
was
the
making
bakery.
bread for the bakery. And that bag of flour on my head, and when my sister started to cry and she don't want to carry it again, I had to take a little bit and put on my half bag and carry it and get to home. Because I can't leave mommy flour on the road anyhow. So now it's good. I enjoy it. I enjoy what is happening now. Yeah, we don't have to sit and I hear a lot of people talk as though they would. I don't want to go back to those days.
Not at all.
As much as they were good in my time.
Mhm.
No, I enjoy what we have now.
You happy for it?
I'm happy for it.
Okay. So to get to Roseau, you would have had to
Walk to the mountainside
Mm-hmm.
and then walk down to Platine,
Mhm.
we used to call there, and there the truck would take you. But the first time I went to Roseau, somebody carried me. Somebody carried me from home to Platine. They had to carry me. Because the road was bad, it was rivers and rapids. I hope, if I go into that point today, it's a real sad story. I slept, like now from Daly's to Roseau, we had to walk to Platine.
Mhm.
And I think Daddy put me in a thing on his back, what do you call that?
A Jola?
A chula, inside of it, and carry me on his back. And I had to stay with my auntie next to the police station in Roseau. I stayed with her for 2 weeks during the holiday, 2 or 3 weeks. With my aunt who was living direct opposite the police station, Auntie Hastings. And I stayed here with her, and it was heaven to me. Oh my God, you in the city, you're getting fried fish and, you know, just where the police station is now, just opposite there.
Right next to Hara.
Hara, right, right, the house next to Hara. Very well. That's when I remember I came to Roseau. And Roseau was...
So that was the first time you came?
First time. And I stayed for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
With my aunt.
I suspect you didn't want to go back?
Go back what? I mean, before you go back, you're talking different and you know. It was fun. It was fun. It was nice being in Roseau.
So when you first got to Roseau via the truck, and you got to Roseau by your aunt, what did you think about Roseau?
I think it was great to, you know, as a child, you are all excited about what you see, and the food is different, and
Sorry, I couldn't help it. Somebody said, me, I cannot make that grade, and with a bag of flour.
Bag of flour. We had to share the bag of flour. 3 of us had to carry. Anyhow, when I get to town, I remember clearly, it was really nice, because the street from King George V Street to the market, the truck put you down by the market, where the old market is presently. The truck would put you there, and then to walk up that road, and to where my auntie lived. And Rosa was pretty to me. Then,
because you came from the bush.
And then the food was just excellent, because we come from eating our dashing and feed every day, and I'm eating rice and fish, you know,
and peas
and
beans
you
and all
know,
that.
and bread and butter and those things. So to me that was great at that time. It was exciting. You want to stay, and my auntie had a little shop or place. I would be happy to run and help the customers, you know.
About what age were you? 16, you said there about?
No, when I came to town,
When
I
you first
left
came
my
to town?
mom. No, I came to town long before that.
Long before that?
Yeah,
Okay.
long before that. When I left home, I left my mother's home to come and work in town at 16. But then prior to that, I've been to town several times.
Several times, and you enjoyed it?
Oh yes, well, I always look forward to buying my, what they had in those days was, you all have ice pop there, frozen joys.
Frozen joys. She talks about that so heartily.
My frozen joys and my fried balao. Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, from area by the market when you go in.
Would you bring home any fried balao for your brothers?
I couldn't get home with that, but I ate it all the way. The distance you had to walk. You have to walk. When the truck puts you down, we're at the point before you take Ranway, when you drive from Fishler coming down, there's this bit of drive. There's this little bend where the estate house was, Geneva Estate.
Geneva Estate.
There's a little bridge, this bridge, they never change it, they never break it, it is still there. That is where we had to take the truck. And the truck would put you there. And you had to walk 2 days, walk the mountainside, all this.
I swear, I don't think I'll be able to do it. No,
Ravines,
Rosetta.
ma'am, ravines, you have to cross from that point until one night, I want to be very brief. One day,
You were talking, go right ahead, my darling, talk.
one day I came from Roseau, my sister and I, and the truck put us down, and we started walking. And it was 3 of us, a senior lady, senior person to me, and my sister and I, and we started walking. I had a basket of groceries. It was a basket, they used to call it, in those days, I think they call it pain kwai, but it's a basket made of the same material that they have, the carvers do those pretty baskets now. And I had the basket of groceries, and my sister had the gallon of kerosene, and the other lady, you know. And it was a stormy day. It is not like now we have radio giving notice that there is
Something coming.
nothing like that. And we had to walk in that stormy weather from the point where the truck put us to reach home. And ma'am, it was horrible.
Oh my gosh.
We walked this side of the mountain, climbing up from Grand Bay to the top of the hill. When we got to it's been raining and thundering and stormy, but you know, we have to get home. When we got to the top of the mountain, you start going down this side. You have to cross about 15 streams, ravines and things, you know. When we got there, the rivers, when I start going down, when I reached the first stream, it was flooding. I managed to cross. I crossed my sister. I take my basket, I go back, I take the lady and her basket and
my
cross. And we kept on walking, going through the bush. And sometimes I had to pass in, walk alongside the river in the bush till we get to a point.
In Noese?
No, it was still
daytime.
Daylight.
Okay.
It was still daylight. When we got to a point where I could not cross the river anymore because all the rivers joined and became very high. So I decided, I tell the lady, if we walk that side of the hill, we will get to a place they call Mayombe, where there is a big savannah. So, not knowing I could have just followed the river, I walked all the bush, biting, cutting vine and trying with my Lord, my little sister, the lady.
I feel so sorry.
Don't feel sorry for me, babes.
Oh my.
And I finally got to that place they call Mayombe Ravine. When we got there, the White Savannah, we had to meet the main river. This is the White River. Some of you maybe know.
Yes.
The White River.
Yes.
And when we got by the White River, it was getting dark. Started getting dark, and rain, thunder, lightning. So I saw some children across the river. That is, and I shouted to them, tell them, go tell Daddy that we are by the river. They went home. And they forgot about us. While they lie down in the night, they said they told their parents that they saw us by the river. Then they had to leave Victoria, go up to La Roche.
I'm shivering.
Oh yeah, they had to leave Victoria, go up to La Roche and tell Daddy that we are by the river. During that time for Diana, the river came down where we were standing under a mango tree, a shaded area. I felt the water started flooding. I grabbed my sister and the lady, and I tell them we have to go on higher ground. And we had the kerosene, so I took the lady mushroom, I tore it and I used the gallon of kerosene.
And you set
to
up
make a big light. And
so they could see where you were.
So we could know, we couldn't stay there. The river, I mean, no, the children never came and the river is coming down and where we're standing. So I remember I remember seeing a huge stone in a Bailey field somewhere. So I said to the lady, I said to her, let's go. I know where there's a big stone. At least we could shelter for the night under it till daybreak. While we had to leave the river and go across to where I knew the big stone was. While we were going, I heard the echo. You know, in the country, they would echo one to another. If you want to know where somebody is, you would make an echo sound. And they would respond. So I heard the echo. So I said to her, let's go back by the river. They're coming for us. She says, no, it's larger bless.
Oh my God. Let's not even go there. That's a whole different situation right now.
She is senior. And she said that to me and my little sister. She says, no. I said to her, but I can hear the echo. They're coming down the hill and they're coming for us. Anyhow, she told me, no. Is that a bless? So I went under the big stone. We sat there all night with I was so tired, we were so beaten. I fell asleep on my basket. I left my hair rain wet in the rest of my body. We didn't kill us. And we sat there and a huge river in front of us, rumbling and making noise, and we were just there. And I stayed there until daybreak. Day dawn, and when I checked myself, well, we were too beaten, I couldn't get up. And when I seen everywhere bright, I said, what on earth, it's daybreak. So we proceeded to the river. And we went there. We met people, Dad and them had come already, people were already gathered looking for us. And my father, when they came, when the people got to the riverside, the echo people, the people I heard the echo, they got to the riverside.
So it wasn't no Lajables?
No, it was Lajables. And when they got there, they said the river raged and fumed. If at all we were there, all of us would be dead. Because by then they would be attempting to take us to the other side, and the river came down on them, would come, the river came down with a fury. By then we would be right in the middle of the river, and we would be dead. And God have a way of doing things that is so supernatural we don't understand. Yes, what she said was like a blessing, but this is what saved us. Because we would all
You would have gone.
Gone. We would be
if she
dead.
didn't say that.
If she didn't say that, we would be there. And they would be attempting to cross with us. And the river came down on them. And so my mom cried all night. She said, river take her children.
My God.
She don't want no titini from the river. She don't want no rush fisheries to get. Nothing that comes from that river. Because the river take her daughters. God keeps saying, Maud, they call me sister, I'm the bigger sister. So my nickname is Auntie Sister. Maud, sister, Passot, sister, Pakeala like here. My father
So
said,
that's what your father is saying,
Daddy said
that he
my-
knew better.
My sister is clever enough, she will not go in the river.
Indeed
Mommy-
you were.
Mommy said, all that she seen people coming up the road, and she you know, imagination. She's just
Thinking.
so distressed that she keeps seeing, she said she's seen us coming up the road.
Oh
However,
my.
when they break, we were okay, they came
But
and-
you were brave.
You had to be courageous in those days. If you're not brave, you'd be, you know. And being the bigger sister, so you had to bear everybody burden and carry load and all kind of thing. However, that was my sad story in the village when I grew up, having to go through that stormy night. Terrible.
And I mean, did that deter you in any way in repeating that trip again anytime in the future?
It wasn't too long I left home.
Okay.
I left home not too long after when I came to work at Living Town. And I'm still in
I mean,
Roseau.
I'm not sure I would have survived this. I'm dead serious. First of all, my papa le marché pour aller pièce côté bazo. My papa
You couldn't say that.
You couldn't say that,
How
eh?
would you? You had to go to the heights and pick the bag of food. And one of my sisters, it was 3 of us, and one of them had to do the laundry. That is Auntie, your grandmother. She did the laundry. The other sister, the 2 of us were supposed to go to the garden to pick up the food. And she gets sick every Friday night because Saturday she do And therefore, I had to, with another sister of mine, carry the burden and the load and blah, blah.
I'm going to ask you a question. Where were the boys in all of this?
They were all gone. They were in England. They had gone out.
Oh.
The boys were out.
Your father had sent for the boys.
Yes, sent for a couple of them. And we had to. And the boys would be up. I mean, they were up, and while they were there, they did their share. But most of, I mean, when it comes to Saturday, we had to go to that. You can't feed a household of 12 people.
That's a lot of people.
Oh boy, up to this morning, my husband was cooking a bit of food, and he says to me, look at what you're cooking.
Who you think you're cooking for?
No, not that. He says to me, look at what you're cooking. In our days, we used to go, loads of food would come in the house, and by Monday, no food, and by Friday, no. I said, remember, we had to, that's what we had. You had to cook. He says, we'll make a big deal. He says, there was a family, I wouldn't call their name. They cook 7 breakfasts for their breakfast. For their breakfast.
Wow.
Because I said, but that was all they had anyhow. And there were about 15 in the family. In those days, they were large families, big families.
I'll tell you something, Rosetta. I really appreciated this story. I did, you know, and I think a few people did as well, because I think stories like yours help us to appreciate how, quote unquote, and some people may get a bit upset with me for saying that, but how easy we have it today. We really do have it easy today, because imagine a mother having to be at her home overnight in bad weather, wondering about her daughters that are out getting whatever it is you were getting for the household.
And coming from Roseau, I'd come from doing shopping.
Yes, and river rumbling, it's raining, and you have no clue where your children are. Are you kidding me? No, I appreciate this, and thank you for sharing. I appreciate this, and I hope some of the other people who are listening and viewing appreciated this story that you shared with us.
These are the kind of things, and today we are privileged. The children, the generation today are very privileged, very, very privileged, and people need to appreciate where we are. Where God has brought us to.
Stop complaining.
Stop complaining, the whole place. You have a sink in your kitchen.
Imagine
You have
Mr.
water,
Frampton
right?
telling me I have to go and walk to go.
Go away. It's away where I live from. I had an aunt who lived there.
I mean, I spent 2 years in Fischler, where I walked from the village to Maranatha Square, where the school was. To school.
Village to Maranatha Square?
Yes,
but this is one piece?
So that's what I'm saying. It wasn't much walking, and I don't think that was much to do. In fact, we enjoyed it because there was the river, it was fun. The kind of walking you had to do, Rosetta, no.
Mountains,
No.
rivers,
This will be tough. This will be tough. And you don't look it, huh? Look at you. In your 70s already, and look at you.
One little bit of life you have done.
Looking good.
Soon going and you just better enjoy every day of
That
it you
is
have.
correct.
Very grateful that I get up this morning. And I'm glad I see a new day.
That's correct.
Just make it happen.
All right. So at some point you came down to Roseau to work. At age of 16 thereabout, you said. So just in your prime of a teenager. And so you've come to town, and you've come to town to work. Let us talk about how this started, and I suspect that's going to lead us into the business aspect of your life.
Well, work was quite easy for me because my aunt had a business. When I came to town to live with her.
But Rosetta, work had to be quite easy for you, the kind of walking and stuff you used to do. What? I expected nothing less. Go on, my darling.
It was fun. I mean, I came to work in town with I lived with my aunt, and she had a business, so I worked with her, really living and working with the Ducre family.
Okay.
Her name was Auntie Eltina Ducre. She was 18, but we are from originally Etienne family. We are the Etiennes from Dalis.
Okay. Oh, Etienne.
Etienne, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Etienne.
Oh yes, I'm thinking Fevrier. You're married Fevrier.
I'm married Fevrier.
Yes.
But I'm originally Etienne.
Etienne, okay.
And so I worked with my aunt for a number of years, and then she finally closed the business. I had to work my ass off. I would work my ass off for $10 a week. Yes, girl. And you go a sub on that, Yes.
A sub?
Of course not.
Myself got sub. So you used to tell me you're making $10 a week. So what was the sub contribution, $1?
$2.
$2?
Yes.
But how can you even go a sub on $10?
And my little brother was going to grammar school, had to take care of him on that.
You had to help him.
Yes, he was living with us, so, you didn't. In those days, things were fairly cheap. A pound of codfish, a pound of sugar was 17 cents.
17.
So I could send 3 pounds of sugar, a pound of codfish, and a tin of butter, 1 pound butter for mommy for weekend.
Oh.
A little flour.
Yes.
So that would cost me just about $2.50, $3.
So you still supported your family?
Yes. The family is home.
Yes.
The rest of the sisters, my little sisters, are home. So you have to send something home. So, and you go your sub.
And you go yourself?
Of course not. You have to go sub. And if you're sub money, I remember clearly my first...
What would you do with the sub money? Oh gosh, there I go again asking somebody what they would do with their money.
Sub
The
money.
last time I did that, I got myself in a lot of trouble.
What did you do with your sub money? I tell you what I did with my sub money. I saved it. I put it in Royal Bank. Never forget it. I saved my money. I saved my sub money in Royal Bank because my goal was to have my own sewing machine. I loved sewing. Mom used to sew.
You had a goal.
And it is, yes. And I was able to buy my sewing machine by Singer for $50-something. $150-something.
So you went to your sub, you saved you paid your $2,
Yes.
and you get your bulu,
Yes.
your hand,
And
yes,
keep on
and
saving.
you put that in the bank,
Yes.
and you continued and you continued.
Yes.
with your aim of buying your
sewing
singer
machine.
sewing
Sewing
machine.
machine.
Yes.
Yes.
How
So,
long did it take you?
I don't remember exactly how long, but I mean, being a small amount of saving, the small amount of money you're saving, and it will take a while to get $250.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I did it. And I was living, I didn't have rent. Thank God, since I left my mother's home, I never pay rent. I never live outside of the comfort of a good home.
Yes, good. Thank God for that.
Yes, I'll call it a good home in that so many people, don't have a place, and even up to today, and I live where my shop is, upstairs. I live with my aunt there.
Okay.
Until I moved to my own house in Wallace. However, I worked for my Astafans for $10 a week. Yeah, and I was a cashier at that,
$10 a week doesn't even buy you breakfast today.
I was a cashier there, and I worked in all the departments, But by the time I left Astafans, I stayed there for 15 years.
15.
Yes. By the time I left, they were paying me, I think, $700 a month.
$700 a month. Okay. Do you remember back when that was? So that would have been, maybe you would have been just about 30 there, what, in your 30s?
Yes, I was
Yes, in your 30s, yes.
So I worked, and then from there, I left Astafans and I moved to my own, on my own.
You moved on your own. But the sewing machine, at what point did you get it? Did you get it while you were still at Astafans? Or
Yes.
You got it?
While I was still
So
there.
while you were working at Astafans, you were
Sewing. For my friends, my fellow workers, and blah, blah, at one point I did uniforms for them, and,
I told you that I love the dress that you have on, and you told me you could make me one. I didn't realize that because I don't know. Again, remember, we had not spoken before.
Yes.
So is this one you made or is this one you bought?
No, I meant buy. I don't buy that.
She makes all her clothes.
I make my dress.
You realize the reason why we asked that is the belt she has on. So she has on this really pretty belt, which is somewhat of a peach color that matches the dress.
Very well.
So you would think that it's something you bought off at a store or somewhere. But you're saying you made this.
I made
Half an hour.
You made this.
I just about half an hour's work.
Half an hour's work. So you would sew for people. They would pay you out, I presume.
I don't sew. I never take people close to sew for them. I avoid that. I began sew when I sew for my friends and things in the early days, but then I sew and I sell my dresses. It relieves me from all the embarrassment of people take my cloth or I don't like it. I hang it there. If you like it, it fits you, fine. If it doesn't fit you,
That was smart.
I don't take people cloth. I don't want to be responsible when you come and, oh, you take my cloth 5 months ago and blah, blah. I don't do that. If you pass in my store, you see dresses there, I make them. I tell you honestly, I make them. You like it? Fine. I bought clothes. That doesn't mean that everything. No. I travel, I buy clothes and buy stuff. I buy things for my stuff. But in between, based on the material and the person's size, somebody will come and they can't get anything, so I would offer to make them something and they will pass back for it.
For it.
Yes.
Incredible. So let us talk about the making of this store, this business. Fevrier's merchandise. Fevrier's merchandise. So you left Astafans and you went into your own business.
Yes.
Was that always your intention, your plan?
Yes. Well, not really. It gets to the point. You work with people, companies, places, and there are certain things that prompt you to want to get out of that. So it was my plan because my auntie, I worked with my aunt first in the shop, the same place downstairs at the shop. And the shop was being rented to somebody, and I always figured if we could rent it to somebody, they could make it. Why is it that I can't do it? So when the people began being delinquent on the rent and blah, blah, blah.
Opportunity.
Yes, very well. So I decided, well, if you could sell groceries to pay the rent thing, I'll take it over. And that's how I started.
So what you started with? How did you start?
I started with a small grocery shop.
And a small shop.
Small grocery
Right
shop.
in the corner where you
Right where I am.
What is the address there?
71 Independence Street.
71 Independence Street.
In the corner of Queen Mary Street and River Street.
All right.
Lagon better.
Lagon. So you started with your small grocery shop,
Yes, yes.
and then it grew. Take
grew.
us through the
Yes.
journey.
Okay, I started with the groceries, and then half of it I split it in half. Half was clothing and half was groceries, and then and the sewing room at the back. Remember that? I had the sewing room at the back very well, and so I continued like this until at the point I.
Did you employ people?
Oh yes,
back then?
always.
Okay.
Always. I employed, and then I had had the opportunity of having to buy a place in Mao from somebody. I bought a store, a shop, the same type of place, shop. Yeah, from Masters Minimart. I bought there, and I operated there for about 10 years.
So you had 2 locations?
I had 2 locations.
2 locations.
And then afterwards, I sold the Mahu location and moved to settle in Roseau where I am. So I moved the store from the half downstairs to upstairs, and then used downstairs as the small.
So you were no longer living upstairs?
No. By then we had moved on.
You had moved on. You had moved on already.
Yes.
So upstairs became the clothing store.
Yes.
And then you were still sewing,
Yes.
making your clothing,
And traveling.
and buying things. And that was how long ago, Rosetta, when you started this?
In Mommy died in 84. 83, 84.
1983. Kadisha, do the calculation. How long ago was that? So that was quite a while ago. So grocery shop downstairs and 35 years. More than 35 years. So grocery shop downstairs, clothing store upstairs, and Ma Fevrier batting. She in business, trying everything. So outside of groceries, because I know you got into feeding.
Animal feed?
Animal feed.
Yes, I'm still in it.
You're still in it?
Yeah, that's my main business now.
Oh.
It's animal feed. This way you get the best feed. Hello, people. If you want to
That's
see
right, my darling. Advertise your business. Use your platform. Advertise your
That's what bring me
business.
here for, so I must say to talk about my business. We have the best price, and people know that. The people around who have chicken. Wow, we gave a lot of chicken out last month. A lot of chicken Samaritan just gave out. And for that, very good for Dominica. May I make a little bit of advertisement that, I mean, these people, they got the Samaritan person.
Yes, feel free.
They gave over 2,700 chicks to Dominicans in Dominica with the feed to feed them. So that is a very, very, very good gift initiative for the livestock people who lost all their birds and everything after the hurricane.
Good
And
stuff.
I'm supplying feed and some other, everybody else is supplying, but I'm the main one.
You are the main supplier.
Yes.
Of course, why not?
This is excellent, and I know a lot of these people, have been in Dominica post the hurricane,
Yes.
giving support to our country, giving
Very
support to our
much,
people,
very much.
and I'm happy that you used the opportunity as
Yes,
well
to say
to
thank
just
you to them.
give them some credit and,
Yes, they
and
did.
to show some appreciation
Yes,
for
they've
what
done
they've
a
done.
lot of work in Dominica, and the livestock industry, as you know, was completely wiped out after Maria. And then to resuscitate it, I did everything I could, because that's the business I'm in, selling animal feed. So if there's no animal,
You have no business.
So I had to push for meetings and call the farmers and do everything put together. Help, not me alone, but help along with others. But I initiated that thing so that we can get back to having fresh broilers, people,
Yes.
local broilers.
You mentioned Maria, and I probably would like, if you do not mind, that you share your Maria experience with us, if you don't mind. But before that, I really would like to know how you've been able to sustain your business over the years, because we know you. We know you very well on the corner of River Bank and
River Street and Queen Mary
Street on Independent Street.
Right.
We know you. We see you from a distance. You come and you see the clothes all up in the porch. How are you able to sustain your business over all of those years?
Over all the years, my dear.
What are some of the challenges that you
It is
encountered?
challenging. It is very challenging. But in spite of the challenges, the will to carry on and don't allow what people say or think to bring you down. And by the grace of God, I'll tell you honestly, without God, I could do nothing. I am nothing. I am not trying to highlight like I have a special gift. All of us have instinct, gifts, and talents. And then one has to be observant and be very diligent in whatever you pursuing. That is the means of leaving my husband, and I am my husband. I always want to include him because he's been very
we're going to talk about him and those young people there in a while.
He's been very supportive. He's been very active. We work constantly, night and day. We open at 8, we open at 9, we close at 8 in the night, just to accommodate the farmers. The reason being, most farmers go early in the morning to their farm. When you come home, I don't have pig food for tomorrow. I don't have chicken feed. That's another day the farmer have to waste to come in town. But if we remain open for them, just for their sake, so that a person comes, they go to work, they come 4 o'clock, they eat their food, they come down, they can come and pick up their food. They can pick up their animal feed and go back and start their day.
Very thoughtful, very thoughtful.
Not really, I mean, life has changed anyway all around the world. No longer do people close business. When in Dominica, we
a few people need to learn that in Dominica.
Yes, closing at 1 o'clock.
Closing at 1 o'clock for lunchtime.
That's out.
No.
That's out of it.
Yeah, tell them that, Mrs. Fevrier.
It don't make sense. And some government officers, I'm saying, wait. I go to one of the offices. She said, the cashier says to me, it's closed. I said, what time? It is 3 o'clock. I said, what are you doing in the hour's time for me to check my money? I said, you need an hour.
Just this afternoon we were talking about that. Me and somebody were having that conversation.
You need an hour to check your money? I thought the last person to leave the institution was the cashier when every customer has left. And so we need to change a lot of things in Dominica if we have to keep up with the times that we are in.
They didn't have to climb those hills, you see.
So my husband is a very courageous, strong man with me, standing along with me and working very hard. And when we couldn't make it, whatever the farm do, it goes into the business to keep it going. We do livestock. We do pigs, we do pigs, goats, not goats. We used to have cows. We used to have about 21 cows at one time. We had cows, and the Hurricane Maria mashed up our pig pens. We had about 200 and plus pigs. But the pigs, after the hurricane, everything crashed. Huh?
We got looted.
Right, has polluted everything. That really, Maria experience was terrible.
Tell me a bit about it. You don't have to,
No, but
but share a bit with
the
us.
visit of Maria to me being then, by the time of Maria, I was not well. I have not been well ever since I had this episode of surgeries, and everybody thought I would be dead by now. But however, I go through it with a lot of courage, and just a short distance from one house to Rosso, with all this muddy, messy road. By the time I got to my shopping town, it was about 6 to 7 feet of muddy hole. Well, imagine the river. I'm living in River Street, so everything went. The river was into the shop and everything, and people looted what the river did. So it wiped out everything lost. And you know the story with the insurance companies, everybody in Dominica was underinsured. That's the reason that you just have to go through your losses and don't give up. I decided, well, I'm not going to sit and cry, die for Maria. Life has to go on, and I am still challenged. I'm very, very much challenged. See me looking good, you don't know that. Nobody knows what I'm going through. Present, just my family, present family knows. But it is something that one has to make up your mind. You don't go crying and begging and letting things go to take hold of you. You have to try to take hold of situations. And this is my goal. I do not want to leave any arrow in my quiver. I want to shoot the last arrow. The children don't understand me. They think I'm troublesome. But it's not being troublesome. It's the brevity of life. And the few days you have on planet Earth, do everything you have to do. Everything you can do. I can't sit and just start crying and painful. And I have pains, I have a lot of pains and challenge. But when I get up, once I see the new day, I start to
You just take the day and you run with
I
it.
run with my day, man. I can't walk with my knees, I drive.
Yes, thank you for climbing the stairs tonight.
Ah, please. But however, with Maria, it was a terrible experience for all of us in Dominica. And I'm so grateful to God that to see the speedy recovery that we have. And it is very ungrateful of people to say nothing is happening in Dominica. I think this is really bad. We should never say that. Never. As a senior person, I've lived all my life in Dominica. All my life I lived it right in Lago. From 16 years I'm in Lago there to Waterhouse, not further than that. And I can say God's been very good to us in Dominica. We don't have to be political, but see outside of your political realm and see the goodness of God. The demonstration of goodness that has been poured upon us in Dominica after the hurricane is beyond what we can talk about. It's beyond it. Anybody can take offense, but to say nothing good is happening in Dominica is not fair. You think so, Madam?
No.
So that is my way of doing this shop. I'm still
I
running
think Dominica has come a long way from
a long
Hurricane
way.
Maria.
A long way after Fevrier. Plenty things that we never saw happen in Dominica. And I have been involved in my church. You don't want to go there.
We're going to go there, but before we go there, I couldn't help, and I'm not going to get away from it, that you spoke about you being ill, and to the point where many persons felt that you probably would not have made it. I'm not sure how much you're willing to share as it relates to this, but I would love to know, you know, some of what may have transpired and brought you to where you were, and how you were able to recover from this, and where you are today in terms of your health.
My health.
Yes.
I've been a healthy person from youth until I was about 68, when real sickness hit me. And I had this surgery in Dominica, and my colostomy, it was a sudden thing. It was emergency surgery I went through. And then from then on, things turned bad.
What you mentioned? What was it?
My colostomy.
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 I'm a little lost on that.
It's the
She had surgery, but then the United States again, it was a burst in her intestine.
What? It was?
Diverticulitis.
A burst in her intestine.
A burst in her intestine, a rupture in the
And they
intestine.
had to give her a colostomy, which is they had to divert her bowel to a bag
Okay.
outside of her body.
What? That your bowel is outside of where it's supposed to be? In layman's language. Your doctor just shared with me. That's all right. Talk to us, my darling. Talk to us.
Well, that's what it is.
And that wasn't the doctor talking. That was the other doctor.
Well, that's how it is. That's how it ended up.
Yes, yes.
Having to wear this bag all my life.
Oh.
And then there was some, well, it was not supposed to be.
Okay.
The surgery went on, and within 6 weeks I was supposed to have everything go back to normal. But lots of issues happened in between. Paul, who did the surgery, had an accident, and then I had a heart attack after the surgery. I was in ICU and a whole lot of drama.
You survived the heart attack.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh wow.
And
You're a strong lady, eh?
not me, it's only mercy. I'll tell you honestly, surviving a heart attack is nothing to do with me. But my sister came to visit me. I'll tell you a little bit how it happened. She came to visit me and she noticed that I wasn't responding. And she says to the nurse, look, sister is not responding. They call me sister. My sister is not responding. The nurse says, she's okay, I just finished bathing her. And she's okay. She said, when she saw that, she quickly called my daughter, who's a doctor, called her, and then she went down. She rallied a nurse, called another friend, and they go down to the church and she began to pray. And by the time my daughter got there, I was gone, I was passed out already. And then they started resuscitating me. And when I really became conscious, I felt like it was fire on my back, burning and blah blah. And I said to myself, okay, what happened to me? But then I could hear the doctor one side saying to me, Fevrier, please breathe for me, breathe. She's telling me how to breathe. And my daughter saying, Mommy, pray. I said, usually I'm one more man.
Oh my.
One telling me pray, one not telling me pray. One telling me how to breathe. I said, that is it. And I was just coming out of it, getting back to consciousness. And then I opened my eyes, I can never forget that picture. As I opened my eyes, like over the ceiling above me, I could see a little box. And on the box was written, the prayer of the saints.
In the hospital?
Yes, as they were resuscitating me, bringing me back. So I can't boast it's my strength for anybody. But my sister then, when she saw my condition, she rolled up to the Pentecostal church and she told me she screamed out to God and get another friend in front. They began to pray for me. That is how I came back. And then I left the hospital after some weeks, and there was a bit of negligence. Gross negligence, not a bit. That is why I am still in the condition I am. There was gross negligence. I do not want to lambast or say anything about the hospital because that's the only one we have now. And the people that are there, if anything happens, they are the ones who take care of us. So therefore I'm very cautious. I'm not here to say any bad thing or lambast nurses or doctors or anything. But I think there needs to be more, how would say it, care. Be careful how you deal with people, because it's gross negligence what happened to me. It's terrible. I'm not going to, when I say terrible, I'm not going to go into details.
That's
I don't
okay,
want
I respect that.
I don't want nobody to say, my Fevrier, say, oh no, I am not into that. And I am very grateful that we have somewhere, and even if you want to go overseas, you still have to, the hospital still have to check you before you take the plane. That is what we have. And therefore I'm very cautious not to go lambasting and saying things. But it has cost me my life savings to go out of Dominica and get treated.
To somewhat fix.
Fixed. And it is not fixed. It cannot be fixed. I'm still living with the situation. It cost, yeah, I'm living with it. It cost me, by the time I left the hospital in Canada, it was over 200 and something thousand Canadian. Because I'm not a Canadian.
That's close to 500,000 EC dollars.
Yeah. I'm not a Canadian. I did not have an insurance to cover health insurance in Canada. So I had surgeries upon surgeries. I was swollen 3 times the size I am, and the doctor looked at me one day and he says to me, in my 35 years of practice, that's the first time I'm having this difficulty. And he just take his bare hand with no glove, he just burst my stomach, take out all the clips and everything, and throw shit on me, and they go.
Seriously?
Yes. Because I swell so, and then my belly, it's just too much for him. And he just burst out the clips and
tried everything. He
tried, and he tried.
extraordinary measures.
It was just overwhelming for him. He just, it's like, I went for quite a bit.
Well, clearly you did.
And he
But you're still here. You're still here.
I'm still here. I'm still here. According to Bridget Bludgeon, I'm still here. Yeah, and I was low. I kind of very, very low. I had so much blood and this and cut me. Somebody cut some different cuts in my stomach or really everything they could cut and remove, they cut and remove. But I'm still here. I'm not boasting of anything. I'm very grateful to God and for people who prayed for me. I know a lot of people prayed for me. People prayed for me. And in Canada, the nurses were nice. God sent people, exceptional people. Nurses that, this particular white nurse, she was a very nice lady, and she would go back to her church and she would gather her people and pray for me. And one Sunday night, surprisingly, all of them came to visit me.
And prayed some more for you.
Oh, yeah, they came. They too. And Dominican friends in Canada, they came to the hospital, visited me. And it is amazing. I was about to have a procedure, and a nurse from Dallas, I was so shocked. When she told me who she was, I was so Mazudi and sick. When she told me who she was, I said, "You are Betty's daughter?" She says, "Yes, your friend. Her father is my husband's best friend. Her father was my friend." And she happened to be there to go to the theater with me that day. I never forget. It was wonderful. And God's been good to me. But through my ordeal with all my pain and my situation, I thank God. I know it is nothing of merit, nothing of me. I can't boast of like I this or that. No. All I know, I have to pay the bills, the cost. But other than that, I'm so glad girl to be alive.
I know. You've really been through a lot.
I am so happy to be alive. Whatever happens, whatever befalls, I don't care. Every morning I get up, I see the sunrise, I see a bright day, I say, God, thank you, I'm alive on planet Earth. I don't consider it I try to blame anybody or point fingers at anybody. Bye-bye.
You're past that.
Yes, I'm
You're
over
past
that.
that. You're past that.
Yeah.
You're just living every day.
Every
day
day
as it is.
Every day as it is.
Yes.
I cannot sit down and point fingers at which doctor, which nurse, and try to point and try to find fault or what government. Leave that alone.
Leave that alone.
No. That don't make sense. It don't make sense.
Let's talk about your wonderful husband.
My husband?
And your family, the rest of your family, your children.
My children, I had 3 children. My first child died, okay? My first child I had 3 C-sections for my children. The first one died and I had, so that's tell you, I started with 3 C-section. And then all the cuts in my stomach for the surgery.
So you had C-section for this one, for the doctor.
And my first
and the first one.
Yes.
Hi, Nora, good evening to you. So you have 3. You had 3. The first one was a boy?
Yes.
Okay. And then you have 2 girls now.
But I always wanted more children than that. 2 children is joke.
So was it this C-section situation why you didn't have any more?
Yes, and in those days they would tell you if you have more than 3 C-section, you would. If I was having children normal, I wanted 7 children at least.
7?
Of course not. No, but what is 7 children? My mother had 10 of us.
I don't have any.
Well, babes, that's your choice. And I
As
respect
babes.
that.
I get the babes on that one.
That's your choice. I respect that.
I still would like to have them.
I respect that. But
Yes.
Dominica, we don't have people. 7 children.
So you
is
think
not
people
enough.
like me need to start contributing
Of
to the
course.
population?
Oh, please, man. You will enjoy it. While it's small, I have 2 grandchildren. They're so adorable, man. I wanted little to make sure all of this is a big old empty house. Fully house.
Come on, get going.
We make it sound, you know what I find? When you tell somebody to say, I have 5 children, you have 5 children, it's like a crime. We must stop doing that in Dominica. We don't have people. Haitians make and they fill you with. You go to Canada and I was very surprised to see, yeah, good for us. Because we didn't have food in our market if they were not in Dominica.
Wait.
We wouldn't. We wouldn't.
Right.
I know, my husband is a farmer. We have land, we plant. And we can only get Haitians to work for us. We cannot get a Dominican person to help you. We cannot get a young man in Dominica or any senior person. Nobody wants to toil the wrong anymore. So for that night, it's not a matter of saying, no, it is facts. When you go into the market, who you buying from? Except for on Friday and Saturday. If you want something, who you get it? The Haitians, you don't meet a Dominican. Very few. Latina and her daughter and the other just his own. Yeah, I mean Latina don't mind that she does me. However, but I'm saying that to say
yes, no, I get your point. I get your point.
My husband is a farmer. He was not that's the last part of his job. But
what's your husband's name?
Harold the Fevrier. Hey, Yoli. Hey, Papa. Look, I listen there with me. We call him Papa. The children call him Papa. Anyhow, you're laughing.
You're such a joy, though. I'll tell you that much. I mean, in spite of the difficult situations that we've had to speak to tonight, you're still such a joy. And even when you speak about the difficult situations, you do it with a smile on your face in some of the instances, you know. So I could go on with you all night tonight. Papa. So we say good night to Papa.
Papa, yeah. Yes. And he was a very good carpenter. He's a builder. He built our house in Daly's. He built his house, and since I'm in Low Roseau, we built our house in Waterhouse. He's a builder, but at his age now, he's not able to manage, heavy work anymore.
Okay.
And his farm was the love of his life when it comes to work. That he loves his pigs. He liked being on the farm. Up to now, to last week he went up. He's still not feeling well, but he still go up 2 days and give instruction to the man who is helping him and blah blah. So he's helping us in the shop with the feed to help the customers and things. So my husband has been very supportive and helpful, and his children adore him. Yeah. What I noticed with girls, all they love is for their father. It doesn't matter what their father do.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so you don't get the same love?
No, they love their father.
Oh, Alison and Lenora.
They're there, I tell you.
Mm-hmm. But tell me about them though. Lenora, I know Lenora very well. She's a doctor, and this is Alison, yes. Right
Alison
there.
lived in Canada.
So these are two girls.
Yes, she lived in Canada for a number of years. But when the shock burden became too heavy, I sent to get her so that she could assist me.
And she came down.
In the shop.
Yeah.
And so after the hurricane, we reached.
So she's your right hand, this one?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My left hand. Anyhow, we regrouped and we decided to start back the store and do little things. So she does the traveling whenever we need new stuff. By the way, she does good.
I need to pause you for a while to tell you what your other daughter just said. 45 years married, Papa deserves a trophy.
Oh. Yes. 45 years this.
I don't know what Lenora means by that.
She's 45 years on Saturday.
Yeah?
Saturday this week was 45 years since
45 years. Congratulations.
So we made it the same month for 45
years. Well, from what Lenora is saying, she's saying the man brave to stay with you for 45 years.
Because he's married to an angel.
Oh, I see. All right. Angel Rosetta.
So Papa is a very hardworking man. He has contributed a lot to the family. He loves his children dearly. He loves Lenora and Alison to the bone. Okay. And his grandchildren, I've never seen the man kiss like that, Papa. Mm-hmm. I never know men would kiss. He would give little man 21 kisses and one breath.
Wow.
This is the joy of his life. I think everything would crash around us if anything happens to his children. He's very protective, very defensive, and he just loves his grandchildren. It's like we had them late. You take here déjà.
Oh, c'est vous still voulez faire 7 enfants?
Of course. Nothing is
wrong.
Commencez
tard ou tu still voulez faire 7?
I did not start too late. I had my first child. I got married at 27, and my first child was about just about a year after, about 28 or blah blah.
Okay.
It wasn't too late, I could have gone my children.
I thought that is what you were saying.
No.
Grandchildren.
Our grandchildren.
Oh.
We are senior people now. My husband is almost 80.
Okay. Yes.
But I don't think he's looking old like 80. He's still looking
He looking like you looking.
Well,
Yes. This lady's a joy. Listen, the time is already creeping up on us, and those of you who are listening and probably would like to call in for Mrs. Fevrier, we can probably take a few calls. The numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096. Mrs. Fevrier, can you put on the headphones for me, please? And can you hear properly? All right, 449-3095, 449-3096, and the phones are going. 449-3097. The overseas line is 305-432-9624. Good evening for Rosetta. Hello? Yes, good evening. Good evening to you, sir.
good evening, sir.
Okay, sister,
Yes.
that is Magnus.
Magnus. Okay.
That's one of your boys.
I know Magnus. How are you doing?
I know I love you. Sister, you're listening to you, eh?
Yeah.
Just came from my head. When I decided, when I went by sister, it was Magnus, you have land. Why don't you to grow chicken? Sister, the first person that we plant chicken, I'm here to
Red.
chicken.
Yes.
When I sister, when we don't have chicken, Magnus, very poor, manger un plastic là.
Oh.
That is my boy. Let me tell you something. Even when we had a crisis, when we were not feeding Dominica, I was on the boat with Ryan, sister called and say, Magnus is not a many magic pour the pool and many sister spend money go and look for to bring them feed with Beatrice, for to bring them feed to feed chicken in Dominica. That's my mother.
Oh.
What that came from my eyes a while ago after I started to learn, you know, whatever. On her brothers, I did electrical work for him. The saddest part is when her brother in Davis, when he went and then he had the accident and he drowned. You see that lady? That's my mother.
Magnus, it's nice hearing your voice.
Thank you, Magnus. Yes, Magnus.
Where's my smoke break?
Oh, lately we have not been doing much because after the hurricane, most of the pigs died. And at the moment, we are just trying to restructure and rebuild the pens. So soon we will be back on par.
All right, thank you, Magnus. Yes, we have to take some more calls, Magnus. So we cannot allow you to dominate. Okay, all right, Magnus.
When people would come out in the country, sister was sewing. They would come there, they don't have clothes for their school children. I see sister give children school bags.
Wow.
Go to school on a Monday morning. So for me, I'm stuck back there for so. You see that lady?
Oh my God.
And the sister, I cried a while ago and I'm laughing now. That really is a special lady. And I'm proud for you to have her on your show tonight. Good night and bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you so much, Magnus. And it's indeed my pleasure to have her, you know, and I feel like, I almost feel like one of her children, you know, just me probably having a chat with my mom. In this case, she is indeed a gem from what I'm understanding. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Hello, hello.
Good evening, my dear. Oh, Silva. Thank you. It's so nice that you are listening. You too, my dear.
Thank you so much for calling, Silma. 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, the overseas line 305-432-9624. Good evening.
Good evening, I'm okay. It sounds a bit familiar, but I'm not too sure. Okay. Yeah.
In your story, I remember you traveling with Beatrice and my mom.
I know. Yes.
Mrs. Fevrier, your best shopkeeper is your husband, you know. Can I give you a fast joke?
Yes.
Home, I would stop by the shop and tell him, hey, sometimes he will be falling asleep. I would just I love this man that's very nice, very easy. God bless you all and your family.
Yeah, say hi to Carol for me, please. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Have a blessed evening and God bless you, my favorite. I love your story and I love your life.
Thank you.
Trusting in God and believing in God.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael Timothy there. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, this is Ryan. This is not a very grand side. I put this and I'm listening and my twin brother right now and we are enjoying the program.
Alright, I'm not sure if she heard. So you and your twin brother are listening right
These are
now.
my sons.
Your son. Oh, so she knows who you are.
Brian, I miss you today. I thought you were coming up today, Brian. Okay, because I had something I needed you to do for me. These are my adopted sons.
Alright. Okay, alright. It's for the person who is concerned about the mic. Because we're just doing this via, this is really an in-studio program that we broadcast via social media. So we're not connected through the console. So when the caller is on, unless I close the mic, you will not be able to hear. But sometimes I also need to interact with the caller, or the guest needs to interact with the caller. So because of that, sometimes you don't always hear what is going on, but absolutely nothing is wrong with the microphone, okay? Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. This is Josiah.
Hey, Josie, good night.
Just call.
Oh.
Yes, thank you, Josie. Therefore, you're okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let us talk, Rosetta, about your spiritual life, because I was told that you're very spiritual and you're very deep about your faith. So we will talk in between the calls. So tell me about that part of your life.
Well, what do you call it spiritual? Because spiritual can mean a lot of things.
Oh, well,
But anyhow,
you're God-fearing.
God-fearing or godly.
Godly.
Because spiritual can go into anything.
Yes, definitely.
However, I grew up in my family in Dalis. We were not part of, may I say, we were not Roman Catholics. And
Right.
that was the religion of the day when I grew up.
Okay.
But from my family, my parents were not Roman Catholics when we were born. So it is not a thing we join or we enter when we get big. It is something we grew up in the Christian faith. Right? We grew up like that. And since we came, the gospel was brought to Dalis at a very early stage. Very early. And my parents were not Roman Catholics when we were born. So we grew up in the Christian faith like that. And it was not easy in the early days of Christianity. It was a challenge. I mean, we grew up with Mr. Russell, white missionary to Dalis, and he went through a lot. The little buildings we had where we used to worship, they would be stoned. We grew up with stones. And I mean, we used to distribute by New Testaments when we were growing up to the villages, and they would be torn and shred from Subaya to the school where we were going there. It was quite a challenge, and growing up as a Christian in Dominica in the early days. But nevertheless, God proved himself that the very same people who used to call us names and make mockery of us, we live to see that they also became Christians in the sense of becoming, true sense of becoming what they thought we were doing that was wrong. They used to call us Tichocho Sabatem. Yeah, the neighbor. I remember that, it's quite clear. She used to tell my mother name was Maud.
She used to call you
My mother's name was Maud.
Yes.
And she used to tell my mother, when is she going to baptize the little pigs here?
Which are you all?
Yeah, we are.
Oh my goodness.
It was really a challenge,
Yes.
but I thank God through it all. We grew up with the word, and then it's a long story, but I'll
Proceed.
just put it short in that I came to town to live with my aunt, and she was really a religious person, and it was a greater challenge for me. But through it all I went, and then I lived to see my aunt got baptized as a Christian at the age of 75. I lived with her all those years, and I was pressured. I went literally.
Was she Catholic?
She was Catholic.
Okay.
And, I wouldn't go for it.
Yes.
I don't want to expose it.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's really something that really, I mean, God alone knows. But God prevailed and showed the world that, in spite of all of that, my auntie really accepted the word of God, got baptized at that late stage of her life.
Let's take it. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, please feel free to call us back. And so you're now, what church do you
I
follow?
go to the Pentecostal church, the Pentecostal Family Church.
In Goodwill?
Goodwill, yeah.
Yes.
We grew up in it. My husband worked, we were from the foundation. We used to be by the riverbank, where the river took the church, and then we moved to the big church where we built it and worked. And so I've been one of those old members who served, and I work with the Sunday school department, like teaching Bible study and do different things. And well, when I fell sick, I had to give up a lot of the work I used to do. But I still, the thing inside of you always kind of quiet, so I let the choir and what kind of things in church. But I used to be a voice of life with Peter. We prayed through the night with people, and people encouraged and counseled people who were sick and are going through trying times. They find somewhere that they can, someone whom they can trust and confide in, and they can help them go through another day. So my faith in God, I know it is not fake, it's not religion, it's not something you can put on. One of the things I love about the Christian life is that you cannot put on. No. You have to. God knows you, and He knows who you are. And I always tell people lately, I'm learning a lot of things in my old age that I never knew before. God is the final judge. A lot of things I have to leave the final outcome to God. Let Him be the final one, and not me. My opinions don't matter very much. I am entitled to them, but that is not the final. God has the final. And when it comes to my life in tongue, in business, I owe it all to Him. I can't do it without Him. I really could not survive in business or anything. If it wasn't for the Lord on my side, I would say like David, had it not been for the Lord on my side, I don't know where I would be today.
Let's take this call. Good evening.
Hi, Fernanda.
Yes, good evening.
I want her to explain how she helped farmers in Dominica in poetry. She has a long history of that. And she's the farmer, she's the other chicks from Barbados. I want to expand on how she brought up that poetry farm in Dominica, which is existing today. I want to expand on that for my place. She has a knowledge of it.
All right. How much can you share on that with us? We have to wrap up in just a while.
I can just say very little that the poultry industry in Dominica, as we know, we import a lot of chicken. And then I started selling the feed, the animal feed, and through it all invite the suppliers to have seminars with the poultry, with the people, with the farmers, to educate them as how to do it better, And we invited the suppliers from Jamaica, from St. Vincent, everywhere we get feed, and at different intervals of the year, we would have them come, and we keep meetings with the people, with the farmers, the livestock farmer. After the hurricane, everything crashed. After Maria, everything crashed. People lost their animal and everything. And I met one of the people who was the man who was in charge of the poultry association. He fell sick and was not able to be in Dominica up to now. So I met one of the farmers, one of the people, his assistant, his deputy. And I said to him what's going on. He says to me, well, he himself is so discouraged he doesn't know. And I decided if I don't encourage that man and help him put things together, I have no business, because I'm selling animal feed. And if there is no animals, I don't have a business. So therefore I had to push through. and keep him going and help him and organize. And I got in touch with the Samaritan Bus people, and then it brought great change. They gave a lot of birds to the people, and it has done very well. So I just roamed up and say, I am still interested. I don't have to get nothing from it. I don't need to gain anything, but anything I can do to help others or to help people, or help Dominica, help my country, make it a better day, a better life for somebody, I'll do it. I don't have to get any recognition or accolade. You don't have to know me. Thanks
well, we
for
know
calling.
you. We know you. If you were to do anything differently throughout your 70 plus, I'll say, years in life, what would you have done differently in life? I know you'd have probably liked to have had 7 children or more, but outside of that.
If I had to do it differently, I think I would have. With the children I have, I most probably would take a different turn with them. Because in doing things, in the early days and in your haste and busy, you do things impulsively, just go ahead and do it. But I think if I had to do it differently, I would most probably study my children more and see more in depth in them and what they would want to be rather than what I push them to be or try to be, or This is one of the things, one of the things I would definitely do it differently.
Okay, and I want to ask you to go into details of that because first of all, we're already out of time, and I think in a synopsis I get the sense of what it is that you are saying. But what is left for Rosetta Fevrier as she continues to
the twilight of life.
Yes.
It's going and
You must be a joy to be around, I can say that. Yes, at least that I know. That I figured out. Oh my God, I'm getting a look in the corner over there. Maybe I can take her off your hands for a couple of days and just relax with her for a bit. I'm sure I would have a good time.
Yeah, they think I'm troublesome.
No.
She thinks I'm very troublesome. And I don't hear too well again, but look, I'm not mentioning it. They have to call me 3 times or repeat themselves for me to understand.
Well, you hearing me quite well tonight, so I don't know about that.
Boy, I've been doing She's not surprised to see I'm doing so well now.
Is that so?
Anyhow, in my final days, but I know anything, I can't do much because physically, I'm very physically challenged.
Okay.
So physically, but I will try to keep up as much as I can and do as much as I can. As I said, I do not even want to leave any quiver in any arrow in my quiver. Everything I have to throw it out. I really want to. I was telling my grandchild I want to really see her learn to sew. I want to leave the legacy.
Teach her.
Yes, I want to pass on the business.
This one can sew, this one right there.
She's there. She can. She's of age better and so forth.
Go check this out.
I would like to pass on the business to my children and see them carry on something.
Yes.
Learn from it and carry on. I would like to see to it that whatever I leave behind is not just money or material things, but I can impact somebody's life spiritually. Could pass the message. Pass it on.
Yes. I learned a few things from you for tonight. I learned about struggling. I learned about strength. I learned about hard work. I learned about having faith. I learned quite a bit from you this evening, your story of that night of bad weather when you had to basically be the guide, the protector for someone who was your senior, your sister. And I think you're an extraordinary woman in my view. I think you're a phenomenal woman. You've had your challenges in life. I'm sure you've had your wonderful moments in life as well. But I think that you're an example for many, many of us. And I think you're going to leave here tonight with a few of us extracting a few things from you as a woman, as a businesswoman, as somebody who's been through the struggle, someone who had to pull from deep within to find strength, you know, and I think we are very grateful for that lesson, for the many lessons that you've taught us tonight. And if you agree with me, you know, those of you who are actually listening to the program or you're viewing, you know, feel free to share your own comments and give your own feedback on what I am saying. But I'm indeed happy to have had this lady on this program tonight. Her sense of humor is something else. She has a very good sense of humor, but she has a lot of life. She has a lot of life in her still, you know, and it's one of those people that sometimes you say, I wish I had known her before, you know, that kind of thing. And it's my first time meeting Mrs. Fevrier. In fact, I wasn't the one she was referring to in the video. It was actually Khadisha who did the promotional video with her. But it is indeed my pleasure, Mrs. Fevrier.
Thanks very much.
And I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave some final words with us. Words that I want us to remember from your experiences, from your life. And as some of us continue to live on this earth, you know, I appreciate the little that I have, because back in the day you had nothing, you know, you had to traverse those hills in all kinds of weather, hop the back of a truck from a certain level to get to town, and you got excited over frozen joys and fried fish, you know. Imagine that. So I'm going to give you the opportunity, Rosetta, like you've given me permission to call you. I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave some final words with us this evening on this program.
What I would say to ladies listening and the young people as well, you have great opportunities. You have great potential. Deep within all of us as women, there is a natural instinct to achieve. I have seen it. There are great women in Dominica. Those of us who have passed this way, we went through the struggles. We paved the way for you. We make it easy for you. And today do not walk over it and play as though. I mean, you all are educated. There are so many educated women in this land who can do so much better than I. The opportunities, you don't have to travel anymore. Could you imagine that? You don't have to travel to get your goods. You sit and you go on Facebook, or you go online, and your goods are at your doorsteps. You can select anything you want, bargain, and do what? Could you imagine? You can buy your own transport from your phone. So you have great opportunities. I want to tell you, the days where I went through all of that, that's behind us. We don't watch, we don't look, we only look behind for reference, okay? We look at the mirror in front of you, right? Your review mirror is for reference, watching what is coming behind you. But we are not living in the behind, we are looking at the windscreen in front of you. And I can tell people in Dominica there are great opportunities for women, for people, young men. It is a shame to see all young men sitting by the road. So much vastness of land that is all around. We have so much that we can take opportunity and work the land and make money. People, I mean, our children are bright, these children are educated. Look at the shirt and move on our own. Yeah, I mean, yes. I wish I could really just encourage our young people for that and tell women, you have plenty inside of you. Don't let no man and nobody have you sit down crying and feeling sorry for yourself in a sore mood, depending. That's behind. That was then, not today. Today is great opportunities ahead. And this is my final word to you. Trust in the Lord. Let me tell you, if I had to do it all over again, I would take Jesus every day of my life. He's been good to me. It's not my religion. He's showed himself. He has proven himself that he's a man. He's a God of his words. Whatever he promised me, I have seen it come to pass. He satisfied me with long life, and he has showed me his salvation. God bless.
Well, I was was actually just busy, just grasping this last words there, along with Khadija as well, so we can probably post separately as Mrs. Fevrier's final comments on the program tonight. You know, again, I'm just so happy that you were here, and I do hope that over the next few weeks I can get similar type personalities to come on the program and to share stories with us. Share words of comfort, share words of motivation, inspire us, and I think that's what you did tonight. And Mrs. Fevrier, you're gonna be fine. Would you like to live to be 100?
If I can feed myself, bathe myself, and take care of myself.
Yes.
Fine. But if I have to be dragging on and somebody have to be, no.
No.
That's all right.
That's all right.
I have strength for my day. I have enough strength for today, for the day I can get up and. Other than that, I don't want to be a burden to anybody.
You don't want to be a burden to anybody.
It's all right if I have to go.
It's all right.
It's all right. Yes.
All right, Rosetta Fevrier. What an awesome program we had tonight. I'm so happy, so grateful to have had her. And Alison, thank you for ensuring that she got here tonight and ensuring that she gets home back safely, and just for being there and providing her the support. I think as a daughter, living your life in Canada and coming back home to meet your mom and your family, to help her, I think that is also a sacrifice, I guess, that you made in your own way to come back home, and I'm sure that she's happy and grateful for that as well. Lenora, you know, your mom is awesome. I really, you know, love this lady, and I think that she's a good example for many of us, especially many of us women in Dominica. Thank you again, Rosetta Fevrier. God bless you as well.
Welcome.
And good night, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the program, whichever medium that you use to tune into the program. And thank you, Khadija, for ensuring that this was arranged for tonight. Until next week, Monday, God willing, we should be here with another In the Spotlight radio show program. Good